Ladies and gentlemen, people of the many, many different kinds of social medias where I'm posting this because I'm hoping someone will listen and or watch it. I am Phil Balabanos. This is Phil My Hole. This is our second episode, and today I have Ali. Wait, is it K or is it the one with the
Ali
squiggly
Kai.
lines? Ali Kai. I have Ali K from
Ali
Studio
Kai.
K here. Ali K is a how can I describe Ali? Ali is the founder, owner, photographer, head creative director of Studio K, which is
A
a
lot
visual.
of things, right?
Yeah, you're a lot of things. It's a visual content creation agency specializing in e-commerce and lifestyle videos.
I guess product, food, and fashion recently is what we do mostly. But yeah, I mean, I started only in photography, and then we saw the demand for video, so we jumped into the opportunity. Good thing we did, because now it's like more than 50% of our revenue. And who knows, maybe audio one day. I mean, podcasting is getting bigger and bigger, so maybe one day that will become one of their services.
Well, yeah, the Spotify deal with Rogan, it's going to change everything now. So just for the record, when I met Ali, me and Ali were like studio, what's the word I'm looking for? Studio partners? No, that's not the right word.
No, neighbors?
Like, I guess we're in the same space, but there's a word I'm looking for, which I think is hilarious, but I can't remember it, so I can't make that joke. So here we are. Yeah, we shared a studio.
I miss those days though at Xenospace. Xenospace was fun.
I miss the chaos that you brought into Xenospace. I like the extra space.
I miss your expression, the expression on your face when you come the day after one of my shoots and you see like all the mess that I did, and then I'm like,
yeah. So Ali was renting out one office, and he took up as much space in the common area as a small, Nigerian family that's squatting with all of their extended family.
The studio, the entrance, the kitchen.
I still have his couch here. He's sitting in my fucking lobby. Anyone want a couch? It's a nice leather couch. I would call it contemporary in style. I'm giving it away, $50.
It's a good deal. It's a
very good deal. So Ali,
I'm gonna come and get it for $50. Yeah.
So Ali, when I met Ali, was a wedding photographer who hated wedding photography. He's like, I don't want to do this anymore. But he was fucking good at it. I'll give him that. Like, we still have some of your prints not up displayed because they're in the back stairwell somewhere.
That's true. Because that space also I occupy.
He also occupied the fire escape, in case you were wondering. So since then, Ali has grown out of this studio and into a massive studio in the southwest of Montreal. And I wanted to bring him on today, one, because I haven't seen him since day -1 before quarantine. We were shooting on set together the day before we all locked down. And I was very sick, and I think everyone was very suspicious of me. Yeah. To any of you who are listening and who need to trace your contacts, I did get tested. I did not have COVID. I was just very fucking sick. And I wanted to bring him on because I want to kind of know, like, I know what's going on for me. We kind of occupy the same field in the same industry. We're probably at different ends of the same spectrum, but we cross over a lot.
Yeah.
I want to know what's been going on for
creation,
you.
Right? I mean,
it's photo video, right?
Yeah, exactly. We've been a bit lucky, I guess, because for two reasons. One, before the pandemic, let's say, it was super busy for us. So we still had a lot of job that we needed to do post-production on, whether it's photo or video. Mm-hmm. So we were busy at least 2 weeks after the shutdown of everything.
Well, you were super busy in the months leading up. Like, I've never seen, like, you kept me busy. You were so busy.
It was crazy. Yeah. And the last couple of projects, we worked them together. Mm-hmm. So you saw, and we were super busy in post-production. So I wasn't really feeling like the stress, but then, we had a good 3-4 weeks of nothing happening. That was kind of a stressful period.
I realized when it all started going sideways and we realized that we were going to be locked down, whether you had kids who were out of daycare or not. At first you were like, it's fine. Like, they owe us money. We owe them work. I'll pay your invoicing. No problem. Then like 2-3 weeks later, you're like, man, when do you need that money? Then
exactly.
that's when businesses started to take it seriously, and businesses are the ones, we're B2B, right? Our services are B2B.
Yeah. So it was crazy because a lot of clients, obviously, like, we had done the job, we delivered everything. Mm-hmm. And B2B, normally they pay into 30 days if it's a good client, 45 days if you have to chase them, 60 days if the drill.
Net 90 if you've been bailed out by the Canadian government.
Yeah.
More than once. Go. Yeah.
So some of them, the billing was due. So, but again, like, you call them, but no one answers because they're all laid off temporarily.
Yeah.
So So there was, yeah, no revenue coming in for, a good 4 or 5 weeks. So that was a stressful
How
period.
big is your team now?
So we're 3 full-time and 2 part-time. Yeah.
So all
So
these
there's
people, what'd you do with them?
So it's funny because I hired Sandrine as the new project manager, and
Mm-hmm.
I hired her 1 week before the shutdown. So I hired
Right.
her. We worked 1 week into the studio, and then everyone had to go work from home.
Right.
She stayed on the payroll because we had a lot of, it's those kind of period that you use to like revisit all the strategy and rethink and look at the communication and what you can do better. So um, it kind of makes sense for me to keep her on the payroll because we were actually very busy on those kind of internal projects.
Right.
Joe, which was the full-time photographer, it was, it
Who's
didn't make sense
awesome,
for
by
me.
the way. I don't know if you'll hear this, but he's awesome. I like that guy. He's got a good vibe.
Yeah, he's super
Yeah, he's
cool.
got a great vibe.
Yeah. So Joe obviously was laid off because there wasn't like any new projects coming in.
Right. Yeah.
And then Russ and Marina again, like we didn't do any more work together because yeah, it was pretty quiet. So Marina
Yeah.
had a couple of weeks of work because she was doing the post production.
Marina's your editor, right? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. But then after a couple of weeks, it was just like super quiet, and I was pretty stressed.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I shouldn't complain. I was lucky because I have a few house accounts that like still, even though they slowed down what they were producing, all but
Yeah.
one, it kept me employed to some extent. Like, and that's the great thing about having diverse, like instead of having one source of income, you
Right.
have different, right? So I shouldn't really complain. Yes, I made less money in the last 75 days than I would have normally, but I still got paid.
Did
Even
you get
and for the
like
record, Ali paid me, by the way. He doesn't owe me any money.
did you get any government help?
Um, I'm a sole proprietorship, so I don't qualify for the
Mm.
whatever it's called, SURA, not SURA, the
Yeah,
other one for
yeah.
businesses. I'm not a corporation. It's just me. That's why I
Okay.
asked you about that. That's why I posed the question. What did you do with your employees? Because I never had employees. I've only ever had 2 employees. One was years ago,
Yeah.
and one I hired, I don't know, 45 days before pandemic. I finished training her like she was finally ready to do her own
Yeah.
thing. Didn't need me to hold her hand at all. She was ready, and I was like, "Look, I gotta, I gotta fire you." And I
It
felt bad
sucks.
about it because aside from the fact that I spent time like teaching her to do what I do, I liked her. I had no like she was a good hire,
Yeah.
and then to spend all that energy and be like, "Look, bye." And
Yeah.
I don't think I'm in a position like after this. I'm gonna have to change the way I work. I don't know about other people, and I don't know about you,
In
but
what way though?
like I've been a lone wolf trying to grow. Oh, I just
Yeah.
smacked my mic. Sorry, listeners. I've been a lone wolf trying to grow for a while, and the only thing keeping me from growing was laziness. Because I was like, I'm making enough money. I don't need to grow. But then I was like, no, I want to grow more. I want to do more.
Mhm.
I need more people to do more. Now I'm more like, this is gonna be reality for 2 years. I think.
Yeah. It's tough. No, it's tough.
I don't.
And
I
and
don't.
honestly,
Yeah.
we're lucky because we're still small. I mean, the big companies that had like, huge
The big agencies. Yeah.
infrastructures and buildings and rental and like a ton of people that like it's very difficult on them.
Even the space you're in now, as much as I like your studio, I'm so glad that we didn't go to a space like that together. Like I'm glad that I stayed here in my hobble hut of a studio because I have isolation. Like I can come into the front door, come straight into my studio,
True.
my part of the studio,
True.
and I don't really need to cross paths with anyone.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
as for the guys who are here who have continued to use the space, it's all private. Like you were here, you know how it is. And if anyone
It's a nice
doesn't,
building. No, it's a nice
like
building
it,
for
and
sure.
one of the things that you always complained to me about was I wish we had an elevator. I hate carrying gear. I'm so glad we don't have an elevator right now.
Why?
I don't want to close space.
Yeah, no, but I mean it depends because now like in our building in the elevators, only one person can go in. So it kind of sucks because you have to wait
It's a
or
yeah. It's a
move
you're
your
on
ass
what are
the
you on the
stairs.
7th floor?
Yeah, the fifth
Yeah,
floor,
it's
but it's 20,
ridiculous.
20 feet ceiling, so
Yeah,
it's like the
like
equivalent of 2 floors.
exactly.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a good morning exercise, but if you have equipment, forget it.
No,
It's
there's no
deadly.
way. The last shoot I did at your studio, I waited like 10 minutes for the elevator
It's a
and I gave up and I
slower.
carried stuff down. I was like, oh, forget this.
It's a
But
slower.
I'm not trying to shit on your studio.
No, no, I know.
I would feel safer here. You know what I mean?
It is. It's. I mean, we have probably hundreds of people now. We're building now.
That's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I share the space with whoever's in the office with me up here, and
Yeah.
the bar downstairs, like the restaurant, is closed for the most part. They're only
Mhm.
doing delivery. There's
Yeah.
supposed to be new tenants moving in upstairs. Pandemic, they're gone, I guess. I have no idea. But
Such
it
a
just goes to
beautiful space
sorry?
upstairs, though. Such a beautiful space upstairs.
It really is.
Yeah.
Honestly, I wish I had enough revenue to say I'm gonna take upstairs and just do something cool with it, but it's too big of an investment.
Yeah. But
Um,
you were talking about e-commerce, and
yeah, I'm all over the
something
place.
interesting happened in
I had a
e-commerce.
very big sandwich, so I'm like, I'm digesting it through my brain right now. Go, yeah. Tell me
you
about
know,
e-commerce. What the fuck
while
is e-commerce?
yeah, e-commerce is basically product photography on white background. So
People know what e-commerce is. I'm
I
just
mean,
fucking with you.
you know what? I realized that fun fact. So I was looking at my Google Analytics the other day, and
Yeah,
obviously, like in my Google Ads, I have product photography, e-commerce photography, and then all the like jewelry photography, cosmetic photography. Like I go more into details.
yeah.
And e-commerce photography has very, very, very little research.
Because I guess people don't know the term.
Exactly,
What about
exactly.
e-com? Just e-com, not e-commerce.
I didn't try that. I didn't try that.
I would try
Yeah,
that. I would
but
write because
now
people are inherently not that bright. Sell things online with pictures. Make that
can yeah.
your
I should
sell,
probably go long tail. Long tail.
online store pictures.
Yeah,
Make
yeah.
take.
I'll probably do that next.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like a Neanderthal. You got to
I'm gonna
think
put that
like
on my
people, right?
list. Yeah.
Yeah, write that down. make a nice picture, sell, make money, eat.
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, I mean, basically, it's pictures to sell your product. So
Yeah, yeah.
everything on white background, very technical, volume based, more very often, and it's good because it's there's a lot of business repeat in these. Like if you're in the fashion industry, there's
Yeah,
a new
yeah.
collection every couple of months. So yeah, while everything was very, very slow, like all the other industries,
Mm-hmm.
people who were not selling online kind of got the wake up call finally. Like it took that, but yeah, they had that wake up call, and they started calling to have those e-commerce shoot. So it kind of
Right.
I don't want to say like we got busy again. Like we had a couple of shoots. It wasn't close to how we used to be, but at least it brought a bit of revenue. So that definitely helped.
I've always been so just like I've seen how you produce e-com. I know it's very technical. I know it's very time consuming. And like we won't get into it on a podcast, obviously, but I more or less understand your price model, like because we've spent so much time working together.
Yeah.
And to me, it just seems like a massive headache.
It
Like
is.
I've done e-com a few times. I'm actually doing one tomorrow for
Yeah.
another client that I've done other work for, and he's like, I just need to get this done. And it's food. So I'm like, you know what? I don't do this often. So just let me keep the food. I'll do it, but pay me with food. It's like good stuff.
Yeah.
And,
I can come help you.
hey, you need some olive oil.
Oh my God. Is it like a transparent, very,
No, it's a
very
dark,
dark bottle?
it's a dark glass bottle.
Okay. Yeah, that's the worst.
Yeah, I know it's the worst, but
Yeah.
I'm shooting in a black space. So it's not so
Okay.
bad. I'm not doing white. I'm doing black.
Okay. Okay. Good.
Like I know what I don't know well, but what I was
Yeah.
gonna say is, even though I'm doing it now, I was looking at what I might need because in the past I would have just been like, I don't have everything I need because I'm not an e-com photographer. I'm not a product photographer. I do very different kind of technical. My equipment set is different. You know that.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck. In the past, I would have just walked out into the studio, stolen a bunch of your stuff for the day,
That's true. Yeah.
and just shot, and that's it. But now I'm like, fuck, I don't have any of those things. So I was looking into what I'm like, I need rolls. Did Ali leave any white rolls here? I was just looking through the studio, and I
You
noticed
miss me
something
now, eh?
No, I found something better than you. So
Screw you.
I realized something on Amazon that I had never seen before. I had seen it, but not like this. So those like I don't know how big they are. They're
The
like
tent?
5 feet by 5 feet tents.
Yeah.
They're all white inside. They have LED strips inside, different colors, whatever.
Yep.
For people to do their own e-com stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
In the past, $400 for a good one, right? The lights
Yeah.
kind of sucked, whatever. I looked into it. I had looked at a cached version of my searches from a few months ago. It was like 2. There are so many on Amazon right now.
Oh yeah.
It's
There's a lot.
crazy. And
Yeah.
some of them, I was thinking about. I go, it might be worth it for me to invest in one of these because some of them look okay.
It could work. It could, the tricky thing in product photography is that those boxes, they will work for very, let's say, non-reflective products. Everything non-reflective, very easy. Like, I don't know, a
Shoes,
book, a
t-shirt,
box, packaging, shoes,
maybe not a shirt. I've seen you shoot shirts. They're actually really complicated.
Because shirt is like, it's big, right? Like
unless you're shooting it folded, right? Like pretty.
Yeah.
What is the trickiest thing to shoot, like as far as materials go?
I guess transparent glass. is very tricky.
Yeah, that would
And
suck.
like it's just like this is
It's
super
not even a thing, right? It's not
exactly.
even there as far as the camera's concerned.
Exactly. Yeah. So that one was very tricky, and actually, it took us a while to figure this out because you look at tutorials, but that's very very specific. So you don't
Yeah.
find anything that explains how to shoot glass. But
Well,
yeah, eventually
I've seen you shoot diamonds and like gemstones, and it's
Yeah.
a fucking, like, anyone who
No,
doesn't
that's great.
know, it's a
That's
really
great.
complicated process, and the
Yeah.
color accuracy is
Well,
fuck. I'm
not
not even.
only that, the balance between the highlight and shadows and having reflections or not having reflections, and some clients are very picky about the type of
Yeah,
reflections
yeah.
they want. On average, when it's a high-end client, it's at least an hour per picture.
Yeah,
So
I think that's being very conservative. Like, I've seen you take. I've helped you on, like, I've walked out into the studio and you're shooting something, and I've spent 45 minutes with you going, "How the fuck do we
yeah,
make this do this?"
yeah, yeah. It's
And
a lot of problem solving.
it's
A
pretty
lot of
crazy.
problem solving.
It's a lot of fun though. I have to say, like, it's not something I
Yeah.
do often, but anytime I was able to, like, just like usurp time on you, I'm like, I'm gonna walk in on this set. I'm just gonna work because it's interesting. It's very
Because
interesting.
you like to kind of solve those lighting problems. It's fun to you, so
I
that's why
think
it's
I
interesting.
like I like solving lighting problems. I also have like, my knowledge base. Yours is really on the job experience, right? I have a, like, a technical academic background in lighting, which
Which
I
I don't
never
have.
really got to, like, I never got to flex that muscle because I
Yeah.
stopped doing very technical shoots. But like, the information's in there, so like, you present me with a problem and I'm like, I think there's an equation for this. Like, my brain, like, all of a sudden taps into, like, 10 years back when
Yeah.
THC was flooding through my brain and I was stoned all the time in school. It's like, I think someone told me about this one time, bro. Let me hold on. I'm gonna do some math. I'm gonna do some math right now.
Yeah, and
So
I am 100% the opposite of you. I'm 100% self-taught. Like I
yeah.
just learned by trying stuff, and sometimes
Well,
I do something it doesn't make any sense, but it works. I don't know why it
I've
works.
seen you do stuff that make no sense, and I'm like, it's not
Yeah,
gonna work. You're like, let me try. I'm just gonna try.
yeah, yeah,
And sometimes it actually ends up working, and
yeah,
sometimes the technical knowledge is useless. You just need to try it, right?
yeah.
Especially with diamonds. Like, no film school set me up to fucking light a diamond ever.
I mean, even in those commercial photography schools, they don't teach it because I mean, a diamond is freaking expensive. They're not gonna give that to a student.
No, no,
And
no, no.
also diamonds have different colors depending on how
Of
pure
course.
the diamond is. So
Yeah. What is it?
all of these, man,
VVS one. There's like
how
yellows
can
and
you learn
whites,
these?
and if
Yeah,
you get that wrong in the photo, like, at the end of the day, I know people, like, I know Blue Nile is big, like, it's a diamond site,
yeah.
but do people really buy that many diamonds online? It
Online, I
feels
don't
like the
think so.
kind of thing you want to look at with your own eyes.
Absolutely, but I
Yeah,
mean,
it's a big
but
investment.
you know how it is now. Like people go online first, they get
Yeah,
inspired, they
exactly.
can look
Look,
at
I
the
did the same
models, the
thing.
shape, this and that. But
Yeah.
like they would never buy it like strictly online. Yeah, but I guess the online part is to attract them to the store.
I think a lot of people are buying diamonds online. And I think a
You
lot
think
of
so?
people aren't buying diamonds anymore. Like, I'm sure a lot of people still are I'm not saying diamonds are not being sold. I'm just saying a lot of people are moving away.
I'm
It's
not
just
buying diamonds.
counterculture. Well, you
I'm not
bought a
buying
diamond,
diamonds
you're
at all.
done. How many more, like, next wife, when you get a new wife, you get a new diamond. That's how it works.
Is this
Is
how
she
it
still in
works?
the room? Is she still in
I
the
mean,
room?
she's on the balcony. She's out here.
Sorry.
Oh my
I
god.
always thought, that's how just for the record, I'm not just, ribbing Ali's wife. Like, when I introduce my wife to people, I say, this is Anna, my first wife. And she gets mad. And I go, well, are you not my first wife? I can't see the future. She
That's
hates
true.
that. She hates that joke, by the way.
That's true.
She fucking
Yeah.
hates that.
Yeah.
But you said you're self-taught. So what were you doing before you started taking photos at weddings?
Yeah, so I studied marketing at HEC Montréal.
Mm-hmm.
I graduated and then I worked in an advertising agency. So I was on the strategy side. So the left side of the brain, doing analysis, looking at the consumer behavior, doing market research, and then coming up with a strategy. And then we would give that strategy to the creative department, and the
Mm-hmm.
creative department would come up either with like a graphic design, or a 3D modeling, or photography, or video, or whatever.
Right,
Um,
right, right,
so
right.
I was kind of in the creative mix. I was looking at them, and I was just interested by everything that they do, like the
You're like,
creative side
they're
of
having
this.
more fun than me. That's what you're thinking, eh?
Probably, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And they don't have to deal with like the timeline and the budget and this and that, and the client is not
Yeah.
happy. Um, and yeah, but while I was doing that on the side, I was, just doing photography for fun. So I
Right.
bought like my first camera was a 7D, like my first serious camera. I was like, let me just shoot, anything, babies, parties, family pictures,
Yeah, yeah.
couples, and yeah. And then I started a Facebook page. So like,
Does your whole
when
family make you take pictures at events?
they used to,
They
they
used to.
used,
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm like the worst part for me was I'm not even a photographer technically.
yeah.
Like you take the
But you
pictures.
have a
That's what you
camera,
do. He has a camera. He has a black T-shirt. He
exactly.
must be the photo guy, right?
Yeah,
But it's funny. You left. Sorry, not left. Like you eventually left the
yeah.
agency world to effectively start your own agency, and because you love the creative so much, and now
Yeah.
what you're actually doing is less of the creative and a lot
I
more of the
went back.
pre-production.
I went
Yeah,
back.
you went
I
you
went
you you doubled back. You effectively gave yourself more work for less money and more stress. Congratulations, Ali. You've achieved
Thank you so much.
nirvana. Gary Vee would be so proud.
When you put it that
Yeah,
way, it's so like, oh, it's
might
so
as
much
well kill
gratification.
yourself, huh?
No,
Fuck it.
no,
Let's
but
let's
like,
go work at McDonald's.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
yeah.
Well,
Work at
sometimes I
McDonald's.
look at like how many hours
Yeah,
I put on a project, and I'm like, I think I should have worked at McDonald's instead.
yeah.
But
I
no, I guess I get to play with both now because I do a lot. It's true, I do a lot of pre-production, which is like the budget and timeline and this and that. But I also do a lot of like, art direction and thinking of how we're going to do the composition and the lighting. Like, even if I don't do it myself, at least
yeah.
I'm very much involved in the process.
I have to say though, you're extreme. Like you would make a great line producer on a film. Like you're extremely meticulous in how you organize things. Like the few times that you've called me to help you on a project that I'm not actually working on with you,
Yeah.
the amount of work, like, so this is what always happens. I'm thinking of a very specific instance right now. I don't remember which client it was. You asked me to help you make a storyboard,
Yeah.
and you were in the office with me. You had come in, and I just started spitting out ideas, and you were like, wow, how are you doing that? I'm like, what am I had no idea what you were talking about. And then you showed me the budgetary breakdown of how you were doing locations, and I was like, wow,
That's so
how are
funny.
you doing that?
That is so
Because there's
funny.
just certain things that I probably could do,
Yeah.
but my brain just is like, no, don't
Well,
do it.
exactly that. Your brain is wired in a way. Like your brain first of all is wired video and it's like
Yeah,
storytelling. So the way you can come up with like a story that makes sense and the transition and this and that, I'm like, okay, like this. And I remember which project you're talking about. I was at
it
your
was yeah, I don't remember what it
I think I
was.
was at your condo and we were like discussing like the different transitions.
You
And
you came afterwards. No, I was thinking the day before. You were actually in the office with me, and we recorded me because even though I'm pretty, I don't want to toot my own horn. I'm pretty good at coming up with scenarios. I have no memory of it. Like I'll spit out 20 great ideas, and I'm like, what did I just say? So like I
true.
started recording
And
myself.
and I recorded you. That's
Yeah,
true.
that's right. I'm like, just turn on a camera because I won't remember anything I'm about to say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
good
like what
times.
like those ideas you come up with like in a couple of seconds or minutes, like it would take me hours. And even after hours, I would probably like, not get
I
them
can't
right.
figure out if that's something I taught myself or if it's something my brain just does. Because
Yeah.
like I've
I don't
been
know.
this super random segue, but like I've been watching my daughter recently. She's learned to lie, right? Like
Yeah.
three and
Okay.
a half. She's learned to lie. She probably told her first lie, like white lie, when she was like 2.5. But dude, she's fucking good at it. Like when
That's so
she lies to me,
good
there's like
actor.
I believe her because there's like backstory and narrative, and she can adjust it on the fly. And I was like, fuck, man,
Also because
I
she's
can
a
do
girl
that
too,
too.
right?
That's a fucking sexist thing to say, man.
No, 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 it's not. You know why? I'm gonna tell you
No,
why. I have like we were counting them like a couple of minutes ago. I have 22 nephews and nieces.
it's a lot of
So
fucking nephews and nieces.
I have a lot of experience with kids.
Okay.
So and like a good mix of boys and girls. And girls actually like are the best actors ever. Like when they
Hmm.
want something, like they know how to manipulate. Yeah.
I don't know
So
that. I don't know that. I've seen some boys be like. I was a manipulative kid. Like my mom and my dad and my parents would attest to it. And my mother's biggest problem with me as a child was that I fucking lied all the time,
mm.
and she could not tell reality from my lies because they're so intricate, and that's what I'm seeing in my daughter. Like these
So you're
intricate
proud.
lies. I'm terrified and proud at the same time. Yeah, that's because my wife can't even lie to save her own life. Like she won't even lie to be polite. Like when we got married, in my wedding speech, I was like, "Listen, I'm okay because she can't lie." Like, she can't even like give you a fake smile just to be civilized. If she doesn't like you, her face can't lie. She's like, that's just how she is, right? She wears her heart on her sleeve.
So we know where it's coming from then.
Yeah, we know where it's coming from. Like, it's clearly my fault. But my
Yeah.
point is, I never learned that. I did that since I was a kid. Like, even like my branding for my, like, when I first started, my name is Phil, I tell stories, that whole thing, that comes from my mother calling me a liar and a storyteller my whole life. Because I was. So that's what I'm trying to get at. Like, is it something that I learned and got better at, or is it just a skill that I have? The same way, I don't know, I can't think of any very specific skills that you have right now.
Well, I mean,
you're allergic to nuts.
What? I have a lot of skills. Like, I don't know where to start, but
you're very modest. You're very modest.
I know what this experience made me realize when we had this like little creative session together was that, stop trying to do so many things yourself. Like, surround yourself with people who are actually good at like one niche thing, and then this is gonna explode. And even though like, it's obviously taking more of the profit from a project, it's actually making
a better
projects
project.
more interesting, more rich, and more fun.
It's a team sport, right?
Absolutely.
100% a team sport. Like, one thing that I've noticed is a lot of clients, your clients, my clients, and I'm sure anyone who's in this kind of like creative industry, whether it's video or anything else, I'm sure they've experienced this. I've come to the realization that I can do certain things very well, and whatever I can't, I'll find someone who I know can do it. And a lot of times it's you, especially with photography. Like, I'll revert to you, or I'll refer to you, right? Like, go to Ali, he'll take care of it. You were saying that, don't do too many things. Phil's better at this, I'm better at this, whatever. And that's the same for all your employees, let's say. But clients, they want to be good at the creative. There's some myth, I think, that people have come to believe that the creative part is better or more fun, or I don't know what it is. So clients haven't experienced what we have, so they don't know to step away from stuff, and they can destroy projects sometimes.
Yeah. Well,
like, they think
very often they do, by the way. Very often they do. It's difficult because either you make them mad, and then you kind of not ruin the relationship, but make it a bit stiff because you're saying, it should be that way. Or, you just like do that 7th round of adjustment, and then it looks like garbage, but it's happy. And
well, you know my trick, right? Which is let them think they came up with it.
True.
Like, if I really want to do something, I'll feed it to them over a couple of days until they suggest to me. I'm like, that's a great fucking, why didn't I think of that? Maybe we should hire you. Like, clients love that shit.
That's a good skill. Yeah, they want to,
because you don't want a confrontation with the client. But like, we've been on sets together recently where bad creative decisions were made that we stood up against, and we were like, look, this is not going to work.
Yeah.
And in the end,
and that's an art by itself. Like,
it is an art.
And you do it very well, by the way. Let me say that.
Well, I just told you the whole story of my life. I'm full of shit. That's why.
Yeah. I know I've asked you specifically a couple of times to, do your magic.
Yeah, do that thing where they don't know what you're saying. Yeah, speak really fast.
Yeah.
No, but in that instance, like, we failed. I failed. You failed. We tried to make clear what our concerns were, and in the end, it didn't work.
Yeah.
But these things happen, right? I don't know. I think a lot of people fill my hole, right? Like, this idea is still new as a concept, the podcast. But
I hope I'm doing a good job.
You're doing a mediocre to okay job so far.
I'll take it.
Considering you're a video photo professional, you could have set up a camera, but whatever, it's fine. It was last minute.
Too lazy.
I just want everyone to know that Ali came in to agree to do this very last minute because he was very hungry during the day. Not today.
Yeah.
He was observing Ramadan. You're fasting, right? Except he got the end date wrong. So technically we could have done this during the day because it ended yesterday.
I mean, yesterday was the last day.
So
I mean, during this pandemic, I have no idea what day it is, right? So
it's Thursday Monday Day.
Okay, thank you.
There's Monday Day every day. Actually, I've described this pandemic as perpetual Sunday. I always feel like it's Sunday at 5 p.m.
I'm always wearing my pajama. I'm like, it's like bed to kitchen. I mean,
you haven't been going to the studio?
A couple of times, only when it's very, very necessary, or when I have a shoot, when there's a shoot where I'm doing it alone, so it's safe. But other than that, no, I'm working from home. The project manager is working from home. We do obviously like Zoom calls every morning. but yeah, I mean, there's no reason to go there.
I really thought you were still going in like solo, just doing your thing.
No, no, I went a couple of days, just like,
Okay.
yeah, when it was very, very necessary. But then why would I go? Like, it's,
I
I
don't
mean,
know. Just you seem like in all the years you were here at Xenospace,
yeah,
I never came here and you weren't here unless you were in a
it
shoot or a
was
meeting.
my second house.
Yeah, you lived here.
Actually, it was my first house.
Technically, yeah, technically it was your first house.
I was spending like 16 hours at Xenospace and a couple of
I don't
hours
know.
at.
In my mind, I thought you were at the studio working, doing your thing. So anyone who's asked me like, "How's Ali doing?" I'm like, "Oh, he's fucking working, man. They're in the studio." They're like, "Well, pandemic." I'm like, "Ah, he doesn't give a fuck. Ali doesn't give a
Yeah,
shit."
yeah, no, no, we had this down period. Yeah,
Yeah.
we don't say it though to potential clients, but like,
No, but
when
everyone
potential
had a
clients
down
call,
period.
yeah, was that?
Everyone had a down period, right?
Yeah, everyone.
Um, I've actually had some new clients approach me, like out of the blue, clients I never thought I would ever deal with, because of the pandemic. Like
Why
they're
though?
because they've always been on the precipice of we need video in our day-to-day marketing lives,
Right.
but it was a big investment because they don't need one video. Like nobody, that's the thing, nobody needs one video anymore. Everyone needs a lot of videos.
Yeah, volume.
And where 2-3 years ago I was fighting for like pennies and dimes to be like, no, don't do the animation video. I did it again. Fucking microphone. I gotta get a better microphone stand. I was fighting tooth and nail to be like, no, don't do animation explainer videos. Don't do whiteboard videos. They're way more expensive. Let's just shoot. It'll be better. All of a sudden, everyone's like, yeah, we need to have a face. Like it needs to be people. How can we do that at a distance
Yeah,
safely?
personal, authentic. Yeah,
Yeah, because TikTok has, like, my wife makes fun of me because I'm on TikTok all the time.
right.
But to me, I'm just trying to understand what is the appeal. Like, I don't even really know why I like it. And I know
It's
that
crazy. It's
it's,
like empty, but like very entertaining. I guess that's how I
look, there
describe it.
there are some gems of content on there, like some really fucking hilarious today. Like you can fall on some really genius stuff. And that I remember, I think it was maybe 3 years ago, my niece, who's like 13 now, she was using Musically, which was TikTok, right?
Yeah.
And she goes to me, "You make videos, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "How do you do this?" And she was asking me how to do like a jump cut, like a
Mm,
match jump cut, where, like, like when people jump onto the wall and their clothes pop off. And I was like, "What? Why do you want to know that?" And then when I started hearing all this news about TikTok, maybe like a year ago, and how they have the most interesting transitions, and I was like, "What the fuck are they talking about?" I got there, I'm like, "These are just match cuts. Like this isn't even interesting. Like if you work in on this side of the camera, just regular camera work. Sure, it's like you throw a glitch on it and you fucking you do a little
yeah.
dance, whatever. So it's basically like one part very interesting stuff. Then there's some pranks on there. You got your challenges, and then thirst traps, just like chicks and dudes being
Yeah.
thirst traps, like
Mhm.
fucking doing crazy.
But let me
Ooh,
ask you something. Are you worried that like they can
yes.
do so many on this?
Um,
Like, how do you see this? Like especially the last phone, the last iPhone, pretty strong camera.
it's a
Both.
very strong camera. Look, it'll never replace like a real camera, like a professional camera for like cinema, and maybe for certain kinds of commercials where you
Yeah.
need the bigger sensor to do some kind of VFX. But I'm not super concerned. I've been fighting this my phone can do it, why should I pay you so much mentality for like 5 years,
Yeah.
right? Because I started in this industry right as the democratization of film started happening, where we switched from like CCD sensors to DSLRs, and
Right.
like I had learned on film. I never really got to shoot on film, and clients still understood that it was complicated. But now, so actually, what you just said, film production has been getting exponentially cheaper because of how cheap and accessible materials are, right?
Yep.
Because of Corona, it's going to get more expensive again. Like I've been reading all these reports coming out of like the entertainment industry, like
Yeah.
Hollywood and commercial filmmaking and all that, and the steps they need to take
To
for
make it
insurance purposes to make it safe,
safer.
and like the costs are through the fucking roof.
It is. Yeah.
And even a client that I've just I've signed with, that we're going to work on some videos now, who are a big corporation, like multinational, like massive. They have an in-house studio, and they're building like plexiglass, all kinds of stuff.
Yep.
So the thought process becomes, okay, they're spending extra money. That's good. It's for my safety. That's fine. But this is going to take me twice as long. for no reason, like for no real reason aside from the fact that if I need to make an adjustment, I can't walk over and touch someone if I need to
Yeah.
like move a strand of hair or on a model or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's weird. So
Or
it's
it's
gonna
more
cost them
complicated,
more.
like let's say to have a first like someone to pull focus because it's so close to you.
You
So
can't have
maybe
a
like
focus puller without
seven
like
take,
yeah.
you have. Yeah,
Well, I mean, there's wireless technology and
true.
it
But it's
exists,
not perfect.
but
Yeah.
it's not perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's gonna get more expensive, and guys like me who are, I think, what's the term they use for? I think it's shredditors,
Yeah.
guys who like can do audio, video, direct, do everything at once, like these like content creator guys. I'm making fun of them, but I'm basically one of them. There's gonna be a huge demand for guys like that, but there's gonna be like a bidding war because everyone's gonna want the work. But
Of
because
course.
it takes so much longer, it's going to be inherently more expensive. Doesn't mean we're going to make more money because we're going to have more costs associated too. It's just weird. It's just, I think the phone thing, clients will try for a while to say, we need the videos, let's do it. But at the end of the day, it's not about like, I can give the guy down the alley the best camera in the world. If he's got no idea what to do with it, like, that he has no story, he has no idea. And I'm not saying people aren't creative. Like, people are creative, but I really don't know. Like, short answer, no, I'm not worried. Yes, it'll change the industry and it'll force us to not be lazy. Like
Yeah.
TikTok has shown me that I need to stop. I need to not be lazy. And also, there's I think there's a need to fight crap. Like there's so much garbage going out, just absolute trash. And I know that I could
From
film
big
this on
brands,
my
by the way.
webcam.
Big
Sorry,
brands. From big brands. Like
from
I've seen
big
content
brands.
from big
Yeah,
brands. Ridiculous.
like one of my biggest pet peeves is vertical video. I hate it.
Yeah,
I
me
hate it.
too.
I can't. I've tried. You can't frame vertical video for certain things. For like dancing and stories like this, yeah, it works. But if you want to like do an interview where two people are sitting together, or like a tete-a-tete, like a 50-50 scene where people are talking, you can't. You don't have the
Forget it.
space.
Forget it.
Now,
Yeah.
maybe I sound like a purist because like even when they brought out 16:9 back in the day, like, and they switched film from 4:3 to 16:9, I think even Kubrick made fun of it. He was like, what is this? It's toilet paper, because it was wide. But 4:3 and 16:9 aren't that different, really.
Yeah. No, vertical is
Vertical
drastic.
is vertical
Yeah.
is drastic,
Especially
and it can,
like I've been on some shoots and they want both vertical and horizontal for every like clip, let's say.
yeah,
So and they don't understand that like it's such a huge shift in the setup, and like they don't understand that you can't just like output like a strip of vertical sequence from a horizontal one. There's a lot
yeah,
of education.
like, and most of them don't want to hear it. They're like, well, we just need it, right? Like the ultimate solution: shoot in 8K and make anything you want,
Even
but that
that,
costs money.
yeah, yeah, it does. We tried on we had Rene actually shoot on his Red 8K.
Hmm.
Zooming in that much or cropping that many pixels, even on 8K, yeah, we
Yeah,
had noise and pixels, and like it didn't look good. Like I wasn't happy with the result.
it's because you're changing the actual the geometry of the lens by
Yeah,
cropping it, right? That's why I hate digital zooming. It's just, it looks weird. I
yeah,
guess if you're working on a crop sensor, it's different. Like when it crops right from the beginning, the lens is adjusted to that crop, so you kind of retain some of the geometry and the shape of the scene. But yeah, I've been on those sets with you, and I get the need for vertical, but what and I get the need that they don't want to spend more money. I
yeah,
get that also. It's
yeah.
expensive. But it's like saying I want a blue car, but it also has to be red.
Mhm.
Like that's effectively what they're asking for.
Yeah.
Yes, there are ways to do it, but they won't be perfect. And I'd rather put out better, that's to go back to my first point. Like I'd rather put out better content. Like I was gonna say, I could shoot this on my webcam. I could. It
Yeah.
would look like shit in a dark studio. I don't even have the proper lighting. Like I did it on the weekend with Pantelis. We did the
Are you
morning
saying you
show,
don't
and
like my webcam right now? Is that what you're saying?
I'm sorry. What was that?
Are you saying you don't like my webcam?
I'm sorry. Is it called Ali My Hole or Fill My Hole? Okay. You are my guest. I am your host. I need to, I gotta put on like, you're not gonna come to my house and I'm in my robe. Well, I
True.
guess culturally speaking, I guess that could happen with you if we're in robes, but that's different, Ali. Speaking of which, I wanted to ask you because I'm a piece of shit atheist. Um,
You are.
yeah, and we've discussed it ad nauseum many times. But what's like fucking happening with religion right now with like all these rules for
You
social
know what?
distancing?
It's really interesting because I guess, like, let's say a mosque or a synagogue or they all, or a business and non-profit organization. They all have the same objective, right? Like,
Right.
have an audience and they want to get a message to the audience. And I was
Hmm.
actually surprised at how efficient or how quickly they adopted technology to actually stream everything. They just streamed everything. So normally during Ramadan, let me just give you an idea.
Yeah, yeah. Because
Normally
I'm not
during
really sure.
Ramadan, there's a lecture every night. So there's like, we have dinner and then we take a cup of tea or coffee, and then we go to the mosque and there's a lecture there. And then we gather and socialize, and
Yeah, yeah.
it's a nice experience because it actually forces you to kind of like see people. Like, it's a good occasion because normally
Okay.
we're all like into our routine, super busy. No one has time to call anyone or
Yeah,
to
yeah.
find
Modern
anyone. So
modern life, right?
it's a very social like month. So that's normally how it's done. But now, yeah, I mean, all they did is like go get a Zoom account and then do a live streaming, and then everyone was like, well, not everyone, but a lot of people were like just going live, and they even like could ask their question live if they had
That's
any
kind of cool.
question.
It's interesting.
It was cool, and it actually attracted, funny thing, a younger audience too, because some of them, they just don't like to go
Yeah.
to the mosque, like
Also, they're
tuning
home
in.
and bored all the time,
Yeah,
right?
but tuning in on YouTube Live or Facebook Live is super easy for them.
Yeah, it's
Um,
interesting.
so yeah, so far they're doing a good job.
Actually, the Greek Orthodox Church here in Montreal, like I'm not really, I was religious. Like I grew up Greek Orthodox. Like my parents are religious. We were practicing. We went to church. I just at some point I was like, this is not for me anymore. But like I'm still aware of the community and what they do, and they've started live streaming too.
Yeah.
And the funny thing to me is they're acting like they landed on the moon. Like, you see this? We have camera. It's live. Everybody see it, even the God. Everybody see it.
But
Okay,
you know what? Like the same way this
crazy.
pandemic forced some retailers to go online and start selling online, it
Yeah,
kind of forced those organizations that were very non-technological to kind of start to, go on WhatsApp and send messages and go on YouTube and create a Facebook
so
page, or if they
interesting.
don't have one. Yeah, yeah.
But did
So
they? Was there any like kickback at the beginning? Because I know like within the Greek church they were like, no, we're still taking communion because it's the blood of Christ and you can't get coronavirus. Like in the early days of all this, because they
no,
all
no,
share a spoon. We all share a spoon. But you walk up to
yeah,
a guy, you and like
yeah,
100 strangers who are like coughing up a lung, and you all
yeah,
share a fucking spoon. It's
yeah.
mind blowing. Like
No, no, yeah, not
Islam's at an advantage here because at least you're like washing up before you pray, right? There's none of that for us. We're just walking in,
yeah.
no hand
No,
washing, no nothing.
but even like we kiss a lot, right? Like us men, we kiss on the cheek. Yeah, they're like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's. But no, like there wasn't any. Like everyone was very very aware of the situation. No
Okay,
one wanted.
cool.
Yeah, so
What
there
about the
wasn't
older
like,
people?
even the older people. Actually, the
Right.
older people more than the younger people because they were kind of like, I guess, more scared because they're more at risk.
Yeah, I've been seeing some fucked up things though. Like when I go to the grocery store, yesterday I went for the first time since they started talking about masks. Like
Mhm.
we suggest you wear a mask, and I
Yeah.
bought a mask. Like we had ordered them weeks ago, and they just finally came like proper masks. I look like I'm in Mortal Kombat. It's so cool. It's like my my dream to walk around dressed up like Scorpion. And there's so many people wearing masks, and I was embarrassed. I'm like, fuck, I don't have my mask. Like
Yeah.
I felt like an asshole. And again, I don't even know if the masks fucking do anything. I'm just saying I felt like an asshole because everyone else was doing it. And then I saw a bunch of old guys. They weren't wearing masks. They were just like, fuck this. I'm here to get my groceries.
I mean, so different mentalities, right? Like I guess there's a couple of categories of these. Like some people are very like freaking out, not even going out, ordering grocery online. Some people are um, not giving a shit. Like they go out, they go visit, they go like, and some people in the middle, like you and I, like
You don't
we,
know my life. I haven't. I was doing the grocery thing too online at the beginning.
it's normal. You have
Like,
kids.
have you eaten out at all? It's a question I've been asking everyone. Have you had takeout since this
In the
started?
beginning, like the first week, yeah. But then no, we didn't. Yeah,
I
everything was in.
haven't even had like a drink of water outside of the house.
Yeah.
And like it's starting to worry me because I don't know how easily I can go back to regular life. It's like even my daughter who's 3, I see her run towards my dad when we see him at a distance, and she stops short. Like she's like, "Whoa, I can't touch him." Like, and she's always like, "Don't touch people when you go out there. Watch out for the germ." Like it's fucking people's brains up. Like it's fear. It's just
And a lot of
constant
unknown.
fear,
A
and a lot
lot,
of,
yeah,
but
unknown. Like
yeah,
we're not
yeah.
even clear. Like, can I really get it? Like, if you touch, I don't know, the computer, and then I touch the computer, like, do I
They
really get?
they said
It's not
yes, and now they're saying probably not. They don't know. You know.
exactly. And I did a couple of interviews, like regarding the corona. I did an interview with a doctor and a pharmacist, and
You did
they
an
said,
where did you do an interview?
"Oh, it's about a Facebook Live."
Oh, you. Oh,
For
yeah. So Ali does Facebook lives in English or in French?
in French, in
Oh,
French.
okay. Yeah. I didn't
Yeah.
know you were doing those.
It was for one of the association I volunteer
Oh,
for.
okay. Oh, I thought you had started like a
No, no,
Studio
no,
K does.
no,
Studio K goes live
no,
on
not yet.
Zidek.
Yeah. Well, coming soon though. Coming
But yeah,
soon.
all of like, by the way, all of Ali's like social media, everything. I'll put it in the link in the description because most of it is Studio K. But he also has that other one. What's that other one called that you do all the promo stuff on Instagram?
I mean, it's mainly Studio K. Now I've started a new branch called Shoot Factory, which
Yeah, that's the
is
one. Shoot Factory.
yeah,
Yes.
Shoot Factory is only for e-commerce, just because now it's a big segment of the market.
Yeah, 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 for sure.
So we did like a sub company, let's say,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
for
Just specifically geared at that, so it's clear
e-commerce.
what people are getting, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so I'll
Yeah,
put
I
all
was
of that in the
I was
description. And if
doing
you
an
need product
interview.
photography, we're both talking over each other. I just realized. If you need product photography, you can click on that, and I'll get 10%, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. So yeah, I was talking with those like doctor and pharmacists, and like yeah, they gave a bunch of information. But then a couple of weeks later, you read a couple of articles, and you realize like it's very different, the
Yeah.
opinion, even in the health industry, the health professionals.
Have you seen this guy out of California? Those 2 doctors who are saying we got to open up the economy. Dr. Dan Erickson.
I
They're sitting at like a
haven't.
conference table. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I know. I didn't listen to them, but I probably
So
heard of
yeah, they're the
probably.
guys who are saying we need to open up and start testing, and there's no reason to be locked in place. It's a crime what you're doing, blah blah blah. So I keep seeing people. I'm not saying they didn't make some pretty okay points, but I keep seeing people sharing this guy, Dr. Dan Erickson. A doctor says so. It must be the case. Like the same people who would be like, the doctors are lying to us, you know.
Yeah.
And what I just want to say this to you so that it can be on the internet forever. This guy isn't an MD. He's doctor of like he's an osteopath.
Oh, there you
He's
go.
he's a doctor technically,
Yeah.
but he's not an MD. He's not a medical doctor. He's a
Yeah.
DO, doctor of osteopathy or whatever. Like you go to he's a little bit more doctor than a chiropractor. And I'm not saying that an osteopath doesn't have a thing that he's good at, like a specific, just like all of a sudden that's where we are. We're not listening to like the epidemiologists. We're listening to the osteopaths. And it seems to be the case because the epidemiologists are all saying fucking different things.
They are, and that's what's confusing people.
That's what's confusing people. Exactly. That's what I was trying to get at.
There's a
And
bunch
it's
of
it's
reasons.
fucking scary.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like what's the next, like, okay, so we're in said like day 75 of this, right? Montreal is a fucking mess. Your old hood is the worst place in Canada, Montreal North.
It is.
Where are we going, like business wise? Like what are we gonna do?
Oh,
What do you
we're back to the office tomorrow. So since
are you guys back at the office tomorrow?
yeah, tomorrow we are. So since
Okay.
businesses are now allowed to reopen their stores, like like stores who have like a door.
Street entrance.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We fall into that category because like I checked with the government, and we're okay. We're allowed to open.
Okay.
We're just gonna separate a bit more the everyone's office.
Yeah,
Like
it's pretty
desk.
tight upstairs. Yeah.
Exactly. So everyone, and whenever we can do whenever we can work from home, we're gonna work from home. In the studio, I've placed some markers on the floor to identify like the 2 meters distance.
Okay.
And obviously like all this Purell thing, like I mean,
Yeah,
and we're
same
gonna
stuff I did here at the studio. I put up hand sanitizers and I changed a bit of like the limitations, right? Yeah.
we have
But
masks.
that's not what I really meant. I just meant like, so you were growing as a company, you were getting
Yeah,
specific kinds of clients. Like I keep hearing people on LinkedIn, especially talking about how you got to pivot and fucking pivot your business, pivot your business. And a lot of these people who are preaching about pivoting, they're not really pivoting. They're just starting a different business,
yeah,
right? They're just
yeah,
taking advantage of a situation and saying, I have all this capital because whatever reason I have capital, I have access to it. So I'm going to
yeah.
buy medical supplies. To me, that's not really a pivot if you're like a photographer, an e-com guy. You're just starting another business. A pivot would
Exactly.
be like, like for me, for example, I'm a video guy. I'm going to pivot into e-com videos specifically now because that's the need.
Yeah,
What's like, what do you think the next, because I think it's going to last at least 2 years. What do you think the
yeah.
next 2 years look like?
We had a lot of like I thought obviously a lot of about that, like how do
Mm-hmm.
I pivot the business and how do I make it relevant to the current situation, but also to the situation. I mean, the situation is gonna last, like you said, and like honestly, content creation is content creation. Like the first thing that came to my mind is, okay, instead of doing actual like videos where you film people, we could start doing maybe more 3D animation and more motion design and those kind of stuff that don't require any physical
Humans.
presence.
Yeah.
Everyone can do it at a distance.
Right.
And i
That makes
actually
sense.
I actually reached out to some clients, and we had a bit of discussion around that. And I realized that people who want video, they want video, and people
Yeah.
who want 3D, they want 3D. So like that's not really gonna change people's opinion on what they want as a final output.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. You're not going
so
to be able to be like, oh, we don't need people. We're going to build a 3D person.
exactly.
But you know what I think is going to actually become high in demand? Heads of companies or like higher up directors, whatever, needing professional quality video for internal.
Yeah.
Like when they need to send the when they can't have like a big meeting and bring in 40 of their execs, they're going to want to send out like a polished good audio. And I think a lot of them are going to want to hire people like us to set them up one time and teach them. So I think education is going to become part of our job.
And I was thinking the other day, like maybe a demand is going to be like good quality cameras and audio for companies who want to do like Zoom calls from like one city to the other, and like
Yeah,
they
yeah,
want to have
yeah.
up in each office.
But fuck, you
uh
can get a lot of that information on YouTube. Like I don't know if it's going to come to us
that's true, but what
unless
you
it's
said
like a
about
big company,
those
right?
corporate messages, what you said about those corporate messages, wanting to have very high quality stuff, even if you give them like a fixed setup, I don't know if they really like want to go through recording and checking if the audio is good and checking if the composition is good and, oh, is the lighting good now because the sun is moving, and then
Yeah. Yeah, you're probably right. They might need someone there.
yeah. And
But
again, having someone like one person like you, I think it's fine. Like no one's gonna feel threatened.
yeah,
Like
no,
there's
well, I'm very threatening looking, right? No, but yeah, you might be right. And people are inherently lazy. Like they won't want to look. Like if it's a big company, let's say a company with, I don't know, 200 employees, and they need to set up 10 video booths
yeah,
for Zoom calls,
yeah,
it might make sense to hire an agency and be like, set me up
yeah,
instead of going to like a tech company. Because like I have a light here, I have a bounce here, I have a light in the back, I have two practicals, I have another
yeah,
practical up here filling in here. It looks pretty straightforward, but I gotta say I'm pretty proud of my image. It's a nice image. I got Rembrandt lighting happening. My nose got a little shadow. I think I like it. I'm not embarrassed to be seen on a webcam like this. Whereas on Saturday, I panicked on when do we do the morning show? Yeah, Saturday mornings. Every Saturday morning, 10 a.m. on Pantelis Comedy on YouTube. My webcam stopped working. Like my camera just would not sync with Skype for some reason. And normally I don't use much light because it's daytime and I just use the A7S, the Mark II, and everything looks fine. But because I was using a webcam, I managed to, with like using 5 lights, make my webcam almost as good as this. Because
nice.
that's how you fix a shitty camera. You give
Yeah,
it more light, right?
true.
And there's not a shittier camera than the fucking webcam. Like I have a
I,
2020 MacBook 13-inch. I just got it like 2 weeks ago, and the camera sucks. It might as well be a potato.
yeah,
It's terrible.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, maybe that's something we'll be doing. I really don't know. Like I'm asking you, I have ideas of what might come, but I'm not sure. I'm really
I
not
know,
sure.
I know e-com is happening for sure. Like
Ecom is definitely
it's
happening.
gonna
Yes.
grow. I see it. Like we're having a lot of requests, and people are asking about pricing. So that's gonna be a huge trend. because e-com is going to be good. Everything content creation for social media is going to be even bigger now, because if they want to sell online, they're going to have to like inspire people with like images that are more interesting than a
Yeah,
product on a,
yeah.
and those small videos. Like I feel the trend is just going to be amplified. It's not going to change. It's just going to be amplified.
You know what's gonna pick up? You know those ecom white background walking videos?
The walking
You know,
videos.
like you see a model, he kind of they
Yeah,
move in different directions, so you can
yeah.
kind of see how the garment fits.
We did
Because
we did one of these
did
together.
we?
Yeah, Xenospace actually.
Yeah, we did. Yes, we
Yeah.
absolutely did. Yeah, because people now a lot more clothes shopping online,
Yep.
and
Yep.
companies are gonna want to avoid unnecessary returns because they're expensive.
True. And
So
now consumers are smart, because they know that when they see a picture online, it's been pinned like from 7 different places, so it looks perfect on the model.
they want
But
to
if
see
it
it. Yeah,
when the model is moving around and she's doing a 360, there's
yeah.
no way to fake a look on her.
Well, you can fake it. You
Yeah,
can
but
absolutely.
yeah.
Actually, modeling is going to be interesting. I should get I gotta get a model on here. One of the models we worked with on all these shoots.
Mhm.
I'm gonna ask Michelle if she ever see Michelle. If you see this, you have a formal invitation. I'll reach out though, because she's like been in every fucking photo shoot in the city. She's been doing it for a long time. I wonder what their world's gonna look like afterwards.
It's gonna be tricky because there's also the makeup part, which I don't know
Yeah,
if it's figured out yet or not.
I've seen a few of the models I've worked with in the past who I'm friends with on like social and I follow, and I've seen them start going back on set with like the makeup artist in hazmat suits, like
Hmm.
visor, gloves, but you have
But
to
that's
touch
one
them.
part. That's one part. What about like all the tools that they use, or like, you know what I mean? Because technically, like this
Yeah.
brush touching, and so do you throw the
I
brush, or do you have to
well, I don't
disinfect?
think well, we always had viruses, right? Like viruses existed since before
Yeah,
video, obviously. So I don't know. They must have some the same way barbers disinfect their stuff.
yeah.
Like I don't feel I'm thinking of all the makeup artists I've worked with. I don't know if they're using the same brush on everyone's face. Like fuck coronavirus. That seems kind of gross in general.
It is. It is. And like
Yeah.
now we think about it, and I'm sure like not all of
Maybe
them would.
that's why they always charge us a kit fee, even if they're doing spec work. They always charge a kit fee because they're buying a lot of disposed like stuff that's getting used.
I hope they do. I hope they do.
Well
Yeah.
now they're gonna
And like
have to. There's no way
a
around it.
lot of makeup artists, because I reached out to a couple recently because we have some projects coming, and yeah, most of them told me they bought those
Visors.
acrylic, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, and then mask and everything, so they kind of feel ready to do the job. um I don't know.
I'm a
It's
little nervous to get back to regular work.
Me
I'm
too.
not gonna lie. I have kids at home, so I'm concerned. I'm not scared, and like I've had issues with anxiety like in my life. I haven't really felt anxious throughout this whole period, which is weird.
Mm.
Maybe because I've had like in my head a clear set of instructions of what I need to do, so like I don't need to worry about it. But like the idea of just going back to regular life right now is concerning. Like especially daycares opening up, like stuff like that, because I can control what I do. I can't control what a 3-year-old does with a bunch of other 3-year-olds all day when I'm
True.
not there. And she
True.
can't stay home forever, right? So even going on big sets, like when I was sick on that last day before all this started and on set with you,
Yeah.
once, because I was sick for 15 days after that. Like I was sick for a long time. I started to get very concerned. I was like, I was in like close quarter contact, sharing equipment for like 10 hours with like 20 people,
Yeah, we
some
were
of
a
which
lot.
I don't even know their first names, right? Well, that's not true. I know all their first names.
Yeah.
But that's why I got tested. I was like, fuck, what if I gave everybody coronavirus?
True.
Not coronavirus. And it also wasn't influenza B, by the way. So who
Good.
knows what it was?
Good for you.
I have like a nagging doubt that I had it. And by the time I went to finally get tested, like 20 days later, I didn't
Okay.
have it anymore.
Yeah, I mean it's possible. A
It's the
lot of
sickest I've been in a long time.
Yeah, you were pretty. Yeah.
I was just sitting behind the camera on that Apple box and
Um,
like I was sweating and I had just like burning fever through my body. I was like, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die right now. Yeah, cut. Next shot. It looked great. They're like, you weren't rolling. I'm like, yeah, I'm just kidding.
and by the way, the final edit looks good. So
Does it? I haven't seen it. Yeah, send me a link.
yeah,
We've been talking. I lost track for probably at least an hour at this point. And for long form podcast, that's fine, but we also do video, and I don't think anyone's going to watch this for more than an hour. Where can people find you? And if people need stuff, where can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, cool. I mean, Instagram at Ali K Studio, on Facebook at Ali K Studio as well, on LinkedIn at Ali K, and
I'm gonna put it over there somewhere. Here, touch my finger, Ali.
StudioK.ca is the production website, and shootfactory.ca is the e-commerce photography website.
That's a lot of stuff. I'm gonna have to list that out. Maybe send me a list of that. So I want to let everyone know that this is the second episode of Fill My Hole. Today we had Ali on. He is well, you heard him. He spoke for an hour. He filled the hole real good, I think. I think any hole you had in your schedule, any questions you had about what the future of photography and set life looks like post-COVID, or I don't know, during COVID, in the future as we see it coming, is going to look like. Ali, thank you.
Thanks so much.
Shukran for coming. We actually made it an entire hour without me doing my fake Lebanese accent, which I know you love.
Yeah, I love it. Maybe, I mean, I miss it because it's been a while.
It's down here. In my heart. My name is Phil. I tell stories. Today we told Ali's, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. You've been listening to Fill My Hole. This podcast is available on YouTube in its full video form. If you're lazy and you don't want to Google it and you don't want to search on YouTube, balabanos.com, hit the podcast section. You can subscribe directly to the RSS feed there. My name is Phil Balabanos, and I'll see you next time.